We reassembled back our transmission cover due to the fact that we had to take this little bolt to put back on. Now what you have to do is show you again the kickstand here. There's that little groove that I was telling you about earlier. I already put the CVT unit back in already, as well as the clutch and everything, so I won't be able to show it to you here. But you remember the indent, but you also remember this little shaft here, where at the end of it, it had a little pin that prevents this sprocket from actually falling off. Well, that little pin, like I said again, you want it to face up, but also it only allows you to pretty much lock it in once it's in there upward. This is the original right case CVT crankcase here. You can see here there's a little notch for that one pin where it goes in. So just make sure again when you actually put it in, it actually falls into that little groove there, that pin, because if it doesn't, it's going to make indent marks, and it also won't actually close the CVT cover as well. So that's probably another challenge that might happen if you don't have that pin facing up. How you can tell the pin's securely in there is if you were to go ahead and try to twist it, it actually won't twist left or right anymore like it would normally free spin. But if you were to, of course, pull it out more, you can probably twist it. But if you were to also poke it in, it would retract in further deep, but it won't let you twist counter or clockwise. That means that pin is inside that groove already, which is behind this sprocket area here mechanism, which you can't see. So okay, so just make sure again you put that pin into that socket. And another thing we forgot to also pretty much, if you were going to go ahead and take everything off from your original right case crankcase, don't forget your oil drain bolt that's in the front of it as well. There's one in the front, but there's also one on your left side of your crankcase CVT cover. I mean not CVT cover, timing cover, but that's already pretty much given because you're taking the whole unit off, so you don't have to worry about that. That's your timing cover there. But so this one, you can take it off from this one right here, but we're going to actually put a new one. We're going to put like a premium magnetic one. That way there's a magnet that catches a little debris of anything kind of a metal or scrap that may be shaved off from the gear, so that way it doesn't ruin our other components. So there we go. And then we're also going to pretty much the drain bolt as well for our CVT transmission cover. We're going to actually go ahead and put a new drain bolt as well, a magnet. So I'll do it right now. So there's a brand here, Prima here. It comes with, this is not the one that's magnetic here, it's what's underneath it. There's a little magnetic here, right? I separated already. I put in our oil cooler, so more than likely we're going to be pretty much bypassing this, but I'll show you in a little bit here. These are the magnetic ones here. This is for your transmission drain bolt. You can see there's a magnet right there. I'll take out the stock one so you can see the difference. See, there's a little magnet that's kind of screwed in there. It's a really strong magnet. There we go, you can see there. It grips it really well. Okay, so what we're going to do is also the magnetic exterior sensor as well. Make sure you put the washers in. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there right now. And then before we do, we also have to work on that crack area, because if you look at it, you wait too long, it's actually almost coming outward now. See how it curves? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little drill bit, and we're going to drill wherever we can see it last, just a hair. That prevents the crack from going any further, as well as you can see all around here, this other side here. Again, this may be due to the impact of us pounding or using the 12-ton. You see, it's not too bad further down, but there is a crack still, but it's making its way. It's almost a good 70% way down, so we're going to go ahead and drill the bolt right there. Kind of put a little round circle. What the round circle does is dissipates the least resistant path, so it kind of gets lost saying, okay, where did I crack to? So what it does is stops the crack in its tracks, but again, it doesn't prevent it from further cracking if there was pressure on it. So let's go ahead and put our drain bolt, our front drain bolt. Just keep in mind there's two drain bolts. One's directly underneath it, which is covered by this right here. This is the Prima here. That's your bigger drain bolt. Most people drain it just directly from there. Here, I'll show you here on this unit. It's already assembled here. So let me try to twist this around. You can see there, the drain bolt is all the way back there. That's the drain bolt right there. That's the main drain bolt, and this is to help drain it further from this side of it. So when you do change your oil, a lot of people just tell you to drain it from one. just right there. You could do it that way only. It'd be fine. But from time to time, I recommend checking this drain bolt. Just make sure there's no clog or buildup. So let's go ahead and set this up where we'll show you how to pretty much install this drain bolt here. It's a 17 millimeter, and you definitely don't want to tighten it much. If you were going to torque it, you're probably going to torque it lesser than 5 foot-pounds. So I would probably go with maybe 3 pounds. Just your hand tightening is enough once you feel that it's not all the way. But if you aren't sure how tight your hand tighten part is, I wouldn't do more than any 5 foot-pounds, even on a bigger thread like this. So this is 6 to 17 millimeter socket. So we're going to twist it by hand first. Okay, make sure the washer's there as well. And this again will prevent any kind of debris, metal scraps or anything from entering the engine further. It'll catch it as much as it can on, there we go. There we go. That one's 17 millimeter. And this one takes a 10 millimeter for your transmission drain bolt. So we're gonna go on. You always want to put in the drain area, because that's where more important. You don't want to put it where the flooding is. Even though it's universal, it can fit in both. You definitely, on the transmission side of it, you don't want to put it, here we go, let me see if I can hold on to this. Okay, you don't want to put it on here. This is just pretty much your flood bolt where you're going to inject your transmission fluid. You just want to go and put in the drain one. Take off the drain one here. I'm just hand tying around. Once we actually prep it to fill fluid in there, that's why I'm going to go ahead and give it a good hand tight. There we go. Oh, we gotta get the washers. Got the washers. Washers are very important. It keeps everything from spinning, because you cannot put Loctite on this, because you're gonna be maintaining it pretty much all the time, and you don't want any white debris, cement, hardening of even the blue Loctite to build on there. I got the washer. Pretty much robbed it from the original one here. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right, we got that there now. So now these are all magnetic ones. Again, the other one, we're going to take it to an oil cooler, NCY oil cooler, which we're going to show how to install that one as well. Okay, so now we got our unit there, and you understand that that groove there needs to actually interlock the mechanism. Now we're going to go and put our CVT cover back. I found the best way to put it on, I was balancing on my lap earlier, but again, if you don't have the tolerance to put this kind of weight on your lap, which I really don't recommend if you don't have to, just go and get like a toolbox at a certain length, you know, a certain width actually I should say. So this one works perfect. It's my toolbox. So we're going to set this little indent area here, and make sure, be careful with this area. We're going to go and push it on here. That way we have gravity helping us secure our CVT cover, which we had a little trouble last time, only because again it needs to twist this mechanism to pretty much rock this over here to accordingly, so it can actually slip right in, and everything else also that gaps in between. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and lay it on there. Set my camera right first. Okay, I'm going to pick it up very careful. I'm going to try to pick it up from here, but again, you know, unless you have strong fingers, I recommend just kind of supporting whatever you can, angle it, so you can grab it from here as well. I'm going to get any of the wire harness here. Alright, it's coming. Yeah, it's putting pressure on that one that we don't want, but we'll do this really quickly, or we can go a little bit above it, which we did. So I think it'll be fine now. Okay, so you can see here how I got it and where it's resting at. There we go. Let's see where it's resting it on. Okay, see, it's a little above where the crack is, so that's good. And we're going to go ahead and put some JB weld on that, even though people say, oh, JB weld, that's not the right way to weld something. If you do it right, sand it down properly, get oxidation off the coating of this aluminum, it actually works really well. So I'm going to show you how in a few. But let's focus on securing this cover. Okay, we got one of our dowel pins here securing this side of it. And then we're going to need another dowel pin. We're going to start resetting it and putting it over here. That way it actually has a cool few dowel pin cover. Gonna line the gasket back. Okay, let's go and get our cover. We're gonna blow off any debris. Okay, here's that dowel pin there. We could make this dowel pin go on the other side, but it's better just to Let's see if we can grab it from here. This is already the smooth side. Or we can just let it. So let's see here. There we go. Okay. So sometimes dowel pins get damaged very easy because they're really light aluminum. Metal steel sheets, you could say. Sometimes they're aluminum, sometimes they're steel sheets. But they're very light. So if you were to take your plier, you can damage them, cause it to rig. When you cause it to rig, it doesn't have that little lip there that allows you to squeeze in. So when you do that one, if you have a rigid edge one, you want to focus on getting the rigid edge in first and then use your smooth one. That's why we wanted to do it this way, because we're savaging as much as we can our 8mm dowel pin here. So we're going to go and put that in there. And I guess to cover some gaskets, they don't make the proper dowel pin size in the area. So we're going to do with this one, we're going to have to actually kind of force it in. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and lay this down here. You can see me kind of force it in there. Let me get a camera angle. You can see this shot here from here. Get the resolution there. Okay. So let me go a little higher, that way you can see above more than below. Okay. So we're working on trying to get this dowel pin right here. Side. We might have to take a mallet hammer as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to lift the gasket off a little bit. Can't lift too much because the belt's already blocking it. And I'm going to put the rigid edge here. I'm going to work the rigid edge first. Okay, first of all I got to work it through the gasket. Some gasket, they know exactly where the dowel pins are, so they cut it accordingly, casting it, but some don't, which is fine. It's going to be a nice tight squeeze anyway. Here we go. We got that in there now. There we go. Put it right there. This one's already been pretty much molded back into it, so that's why it's easier. Okay, now we're gonna go and put our gasket on. I mean our cover on now. Here's our cover, and I want to make sure you get the top shot as well, so you can see me. I'm gonna fiddle around with the kickstart stand. That way, let me get a little higher angle there. That way you can see everything here coming into play. See me angle it. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and put our CVT cover. Again, this exhaust flow right here pretty much points front to the bike, and this one here where the air vents out again points back to the rear wheel. Okay, so here we go. This is the top you're coming from. You're seeing the top view. And there it goes. This is the, I have to lower it to make sure I show you. This is again the what do you call that, the little bushing, the longer bushing that sits right here on the kickstand so it doesn't wear out the case itself. So again, this point of the exhaust points forward the bike, and this one right here funnels the air from the clutch back out to the rear exhaust wheel. Okay, for the rear wheel area. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and just kind of lift it over. Just careful, this thing might want to come out like this. See how it retracts already? So what you could do ahead of time, if you wanted to, just go ahead and take it out and put it in this right now. That's fine, because we actually can see it from the top just fine. So it's not going to want to go in yet. The reason why, again, is because of that second what do you call that? Second shaft here, that little small shaft I was talking about. Again, make sure it does not spin freely once it actually dips in, because that groove, it's supposed to lock it in place. And then also make sure again that I gotta show you this again just to double check that the arrow is pointing horizontally. That everything, even the logo behind that secondary sprocket there, says J3 or some sort. That not the first J3 here, but the second J3 inside the loop you can see here is also facing horizontally. And the other one is fine, it's universal. We can't really see it anyway, but that one we just like to have the indication there just for good, I guess, aesthetic when we take it off, which no one's gonna see it unless you you know, take it off. So all right, going back to where we were, let's go and get started here, because we got that crack to take care of as soon as possible before it gets like a cancer. It just keeps spreading. if we don't take care of it. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and lay this cover gently there. And you might have to bring the Kickstarter and work it. There we go. If you notice there, it's actually kind of like bent it because of the spring is pulling that shaft to one side. So you can kind of adjust it now that you have it here. Okay, go ahead and start lining up your dowel pins. Okay, there we go. See, this is the dowel pins here. You don't want to put any kind of pressure on a dowel pin. You want to make sure it resets into the dowel pin. Right now, I look like I'm teeter-totting it. Okay. Okay, see, now it doesn't want to go anymore. And it's not the dowel pin that's holding it. And what it is, again, is this shaft part here. It needs to twist the gear mechanism to kind of shake parts back into place. So what we're going to do is just kind of, I'm going to rough do this here. I'm going to put the gear. I'll put it at this angle, that way it won't be. Okay, it's not going in there. See how I'm twisting it? As I'm twisting it, putting some pressure on the very top a little bit. Again, having gravity help me. See, this is already almost going in, just a little bit. I think it's actually already in, if I'm not mistaken. Except for this part, there we go, snap. And that's it. So use your kickstart, don't use a mallet hammer and try to knock this, forcing it in, because the mechanism is not resetting itself. And that's why I think a lot of things are not supposed to be done that way. So there we go, we got that down. Now it's time to go ahead and well, you remember how I screwed the back part, so I'm not going to go ahead and cover that again, but you're going to see here I'm going to start from the left to the right. So just make sure we're going to flip this around. So this one goes here now because it's upside down. So here we go. I'm going to, no Loctite needed, but you definitely want to blow the cardboard dust if you're going to use this method to secure your screws. Once you pull it out, the cardboard dust comes right out. And you just want to make sure all your gaskets also in good alignment with I can see all the holes pretty much that are visible. You know, this is being barricaded and blocked by this one, but I can still see the silver lining of the toolbox, so that means it's a straight hole straight through the gasket. I can see the gaskets coming along quite nicely. Here, I'll show you. You can see here, if you did it right, the gasket shows as well, but also the holes. So let's see if I can get into the hole here. This one is a little dark, but there you go. I lift it up, you can see the hole. It's only because it's going straight to the engine case, so it's dark. Okay, as you can see, we popped it out again, but that's okay, because we know how to actually reset it again now. You can see this one is a line, it's a line, it's a line, so it's pretty much a line there. Oh, there we go, that's a line, that's a line. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and this is how we did it last time, so we'll do it again. Again, you can probably almost do this with one hand. It went in. Yeah, I did. There it goes. Snap. Make sure this side's flush. You can see there it's flushed. Flushed. It's got all this gasket there. Okay. Now it's time to really tighten it down and get ready to focus on getting our JB weld to take care of that crack. Again, if you talk to any weld shop, they're going to say, you know, you're going to need to weld it. If they're going to talk to your supplier, they're going to say you're going to need a new crankcase. But JB Weld just costs close to just no more than $6 really for their original longer drying. But actually the fast drying is a little cheaper by 50 cents. I'm not sure why. It'd probably be less strength maybe. But I recommend just getting their original. Here we go, we're talking about. We're going to jump a little bit here and there. But this is their original right here. That's what we're going to use. So we're gonna get this all positioned. Okay, you can see now we're gonna go and put all the bolts in properly placed. I want to get a little higher for you so you can see almost everything from the top view as well. That's good enough. Okay.